Swadharma means taking care of yourself. Being true to yourself, to who you are as a person. Not trying to be like somebody else. It has two aspects. One is looking after other people. The women always have, this is always a big problem for women. Men don't have it as much as women. Although,
Yeah, most men don't. Worry too much about taking care of others.
No, that's right. But I know there was a guy on the internet, he came in a few days ago into the web and started chatting with me, and that's what he's been doing all his life. It's driven him nuts. He's a do-gooder. He's out there helping everybody. And it's driven him absolutely crazy. He's not taking care of himself. He's spending all of his energy, right, helping other people. And you know, that's meant to be all very noble and virtuous. That plays really good, doesn't it? You're out there making a difference. It makes you look good. You're compassionate, and kind, and caring. But yeah, you're definitely fixing the world, but what about you? Are you getting fixed? No, you're not getting fixed. You're not looking after yourself. You're taking care of them because what? You don't want to take care of yourself because there's too much stuff in there that is not pleasant, that you don't want to deal with. I one time ended up in the occupied territories in Palestine, just outside of Jerusalem, in a little town called Abu Dis. And I was staying in the house that was run by a French nun. And she was part of the international peace movement. A do-gooder extraordinaire, as the French say. She was a do-gooder, you know. And she was helping, she was going to heal. I mean, she was going to heal the Jews and the Palestinians. So she had this international peace movement, get a whole bunch of money. She had a big house there, and she used it kind of like to try to get the Israelis and the Palestinians together. And then there were a bunch of Palestinian boys who were going to school there, and she got money for them to go to university and so on. She wasn't impartial, actually. And the thing wasn't working. And it just wasn't working. And she was totally frazzled and stressed. Because she, they weren't hugging each other. They're supposed to hug each other. Warm fuzzy, kissy kissy. If you've ever been to that part of the world, it's never going to happen. Those people are happy to hate you. And they've got their list of hatreds and grievances goes back centuries. If they can solve their problem right now, don't worry. They'll dig up problems from 5,000 years ago that'll allow them to be in conflict. They like it. They feel righteous because they're fighting. So, wasn't working. I just kept my mouth shut. I was writing a book, and I was happy there. I mean, apart from the bullets that came flying at me one night when I was sleeping on a veranda, and the Israelis came through town, and the Palestinians were throwing stuff at them, and they started shooting, and bullets were zipping around, and then we were in a curfew for 24 hours and so forth. That wasn't a lot of fun, but basically I was happy. Anyway, one day she came to me and she said, Can I talk with you? I said, sure. And she said, and she told me, this isn't working. Why do you think it's not working? And I said, well, I can tell you, but I don't think you want to hear the answer. And she said, well, try me. So I told her, because you're not taking care of your own stuff. You're an angry person. And the anger in you is, as they say in England, queering the pitch. It's getting in the way of the performance of your duties here. You're not doing it dispassionately. You're not fair. You're not a good example of a peaceful person. If you want these people to be peaceful, you've got to show them what peace is. You have to model peace, and you're not peaceful. Because you're not looking at yourself, you're all extroverted, you're all worried outside. So, I thought, well, nobody ever listens to me or takes my advice anyway, so. A few days later, just before I was going to leave, she came to me and she said, can I talk to you? I said, sure. I said, what's up? She said, I'm leaving. I said, you're leaving? Well, what about all this? She said, no, I thought about it and you're right. I said, well, what are you going to do? I'm going back to the monastery and try to sort out myself. I'm going to take care of me. Right? So this Swadharma, so you have to look after yourself. You can't help anybody if you're not okay. The other idea here in Swadharma is what? Sorry. The other idea is what? Don't try to be like somebody else. Huh? That's a big one. That's maybe even more of a problem. You got this idea that you're not okay as you are and you want to be like Christ or the Buddha, or you want to be like Jennifer Aniston, or Brad Pitt. Huh? You want those six-pack abs and those big, beautiful breasts, and you want to be very famous, huh? And have a big jet, huh? That's what you want to do, right? You don't want to be this poor little schmuck that's wandering around, worrying about paying their taxes, picking their nose, and worrying about their kids and stuff. That's not glamorous. That's not glorious. Swadharma. And if you don't take care of yourself, if you're not true to who you are as a human being, most of these spiritual people are trying to run away from who they are as a human being. They're not satisfied with who they are as a person. So they want to be like somebody else or be somebody else. They want to be different from what they are. So they get on this whole spiritual trip and they become spiritual. They paste another personality on top of what? This not so nice, not so beautiful, not so wonderful person. They're inauthentic. They get this idea. You see them in these spiritual, religious communities. They have this smarmy, smiley face and the huggy, lovey things. And there's all this poison inside, just waiting to get out. And you do one wrong thing and it just leaps out at you. You wonder, where did that come from? I was once in one of these things and I went to this chanting thing. This beautiful woman, and she was there and she was meant to see that everything went right, And I made a mistake because I couldn't sit like everybody else. I had to sit in chairs. I had a bad knee. And I accidentally, she'd been all lovey-dovey and everything. She'd been all smarmy and smiling. And isn't it wonderful we're all here together worshiping God? That was, and I accidentally just rested my chanting book on my knee. Ayo! She's on me like anything. Oh my God, did I get a lecture? I was contaminating and defiling that book because it touched my foot, my leg. Huh? Just, pasting this up, being something other than what you are. That's called Swadharma.